What up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about all of the things that I've been reading for the last couple of weeks, what I've finished, what I'm currently working on, and what I plan to read next. I'll also let you know what review you're gonna see on the channel next week. So let's just dive right into it, starting with what I have finished. And it's a lot, I think, in my opinion, but it has been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these. So first up, I did finish volumes 11 and 12 of my One Piece reread. Just having the best time. I can't wait to have another crew discussion. I cannot remember whose channel that's going to appear on, but our discussion of volumes 1 through 9 is on Philip Chase's channel, which I'm going to have down in the description below. I believe half of the crew has read the series one or more times, and I think the other half is reading it for the first time. At any rate, if you have ever read One Piece, you know there's just no end to discussing how much we love this manga. I also finished the next book in the Dublin trilogy by Queeve McDonald. It's called Firewater Blues. It's a crime thriller series. It's set in Dublin, Ireland, featuring Bunny McGarry. I absolutely love Bunny. He is one of my top favorite fictional characters of all time, but there is one that is right there with him in this series, and that is Sister Bernadette. She is a nun from the Sisters of the Saint. If you haven't read this series, oh my goodness. But if you have, I know you're hollering at your screen right now going, yes, I love her. You just really need to read this series. If you love crime thriller novels and you also like when you have a healthy dose of comedy involved, this series is perfect for you, especially if you love audiobooks. Morgan C. Jones narrates these books and does an amazing job. I have done non-spoiler reviews for the first two novels in this trilogy. I'll link them down below. I can keep talking about these books. I will review every book if you guys are interested. Let me know in the comments. If you are, I'll keep going, but this one was not my favorite in this series, but I still had a good time with it. I'm still going to continue the series. Now, I'm reading them in chronological order this time. So this is book 3 chronologically, and I think it's book 6 or 7 in publication order. Another fantastic time on a case with Bunny, who is on sabbatical from his job as a detective inspector, yet he just cannot stay out of trouble. It almost always comes in 3s. This time I think it's 2s, but he sticks his nose in where it doesn't belong yet again, though he always thinks he's doing the right thing, and ultimately that's just Bunny. He's the unsung hero of the world, and you just cannot help but love him for it. And since we're talking about audiobooks, another book that I finished is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This is a romance novel, a contemporary romance that came out in February of this year. My friend Esme, she was talking about it. She had a good time with it, and I thought, you know, something about it just appealed to me, the way that she was talking about it. So I put it on hold with my library. That hold came up recently. I listened to it. It has 2 narrators. E.J. Bingham, I believe, does the male main character, and Hathaway Lee is our female main character. But this is a Sleepless in Seattle-esque type of romance. It's a radio DJ who hosts a romance program, and he has fallen out of love with love. And a really funny series of events lands him on the line with his show one night with Lucy, who loves the idea of love, but she has been waiting. She always tells herself, there's something better, there's something better. I'm waiting for something better. She wants that magic. She wants that happily ever after. And these two end up going on an adventure, a show where Baltimore is helping Lucy find love. And it's so cute. I mean, it's a romance novel. You know what's going to happen, but how do we get there? And why do these two characters, you know, I'm going to stop. I already have a non-spoiler review about it. I'll have it linked in the description below. I think it came out last week on the channel, so check it out if you're interested. Let's see. What else did I finish? Oh, an Indiana Jones meets the A-Team fantasy novel. This is a beta read. It's by Stephen Arian. I cannot wait for this book to come out, and it's probably going to be a while. This is gonna hurt to sit on this. I mean, this book, there was just this moment where there was this revelation. There's something that I wanted to know more about, and I just became a rabid reader. Could not stop reading the book at this point. I think it was like about the halfway mark. I had to know what this was, and those questions led to more questions. The intrigue, and not even just that one thing, but I loved these characters. I was so invested in these characters. It's a group of mercenaries. That's where I got my A-Team reference. Oh my goodness, this adventure was fantastic. And I thought it was going to be a sort of sword and sorcery fun adventure, but it got serious and it had some great character moments, some great development, some world building. I want more. That's what I know. I emailed the author and I was like, okay, I want more of this. I would love to know more about this. Can you please tell me more about these people? It was fantastic. Looking forward to hearing more about that process. He's got so much happening right now, so it's probably going to be a little while. I'm just gonna have to satisfy myself with knowing that it's coming along the wire. There is an anthology that is coming out in September called Swords and Larceny, and he has a short story in there that ties in with this world. So if what I'm talking about with this beta read interests you, pick that anthology up. I'll put a link to the pre-order down in the description below because there's a ton of really great authors in there, and I think a lot of you would be interested in picking that one up. And to round out my finished reads, I have one more, and it was an accidental one. My husband and I were looking for a new show to watch. One of his friends had recommended the Silo series, so we started watching the show, and both my husband and I liked the show. We both thought it was really good, had a lot of good intrigue and mystery to it. We both love a lot of the actors that they have in the show. So I had a day come up where I didn't have an audiobook to listen to, and there was something I was doing where I was going to be doing a lot of mindless something or other, and I wanted an audiobook. So I thought, you know what? Let me see if Wool, the first book in the Silo series, is in my library available. It wasn't, but it was on Hoopla. So I got that. Eduardo Bellerini is the narrator. I've listened to things by him before, really enjoyed him as a narrator. So I started listening to the book, and my initial reaction was, okay, so the show changed a few things. I understand why they did that. They took a few of the little plot lines and combined it into one character doing it instead of multiple characters in the book. But as I continued reading the book got so much better. So much so that I stopped watching the show with Chris. I'm like, you just watch this in your own time, because the book has far, far, far surpassed what the show is going to do. And I know the show is going to change trajectory. I know it's not going to have the same end result as the book, and I am far more invested in what's going on in the book series. So I really enjoyed that one, and that is going to be the review that's going to be up on the channel next week. So if you just so happen have not read the Sci-Fi Silo series by Hugh Howey, tune into that non-spoiler review next week and hear about what I thought. Or if you have and you just want to know what I thought, check it out. Now let's talk about what I am currently working on. So still continuing the One Piece reread. I'm on volume 13. I need to check in with my crew and find out when we're going to have our next live discussion so I can share that with y'all. I'm still working on the indigenous dark fiction anthology, Never Whistle at Night. I'm almost done. I think I have 2 or 3 short stories left in this one. This is a banger. Every story I've read in here so far, with the exception, I think, of one. There was one I actually DNF'd. I just did not understand it, the way that it was written, and there was no context of the folklore provided for me to be able to follow along, and I was lost as a goose and not enjoying it, and none of the words were making sense. Like, I was reading it, there was no comprehension going on, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna skip this one. But really enjoying it as a whole. A lot of authors I haven't read before. I would say about half of the authors in here I haven't read before, and the other half I have, and it's just been wonderful. I will be checking out some of the authors, the new authors that I read in here. I'm going to be checking out some of their stuff, and I'll cover here on the channel. I also picked up Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee. This is, even though I own the Jade City trilogy, which that is not the name of that series. I do not know the name of the trilogy. The first book is called Jade City. I've had that trilogy almost since it's come out. Still haven't read it yet, so this is actually the first thing I've read by Fonda Lee that she co-wrote with Shannon Lee, who is the daughter of Bruce Lee, and y'all have to see this beautiful, beautiful hardback cover of it. I got it when it came out. I love that so much. But this is the story of a young warrior named Jun Lee, whose biggest dream is to prove his worth in this competition to become a guardian, but it becomes so much more than that. And I felt that the story had finished itself, and I was only at the halfway mark, and I thought, uh-oh, what are we gonna go, where can we possibly go from here? And oh my goodness, that's when the story really has begun. So very much enjoying this one. I have just blazed through it. I'm over halfway done with this book. I think I started it yesterday. Just absolutely loving that one. Another one that I am loving. So I talked about this series, The Wars of Light and Shadow. Now I'm holding up Ships of Merior, but the UK edition, or is this the US edition? It has Ships of Merior and War Host of Vastmark in it. So I'm actually reading book 3, which is here at the back, and I've just been talking about this series, how I like to read a few pages at a time, let it soak in, mull it over, absorb it, analyze it a little bit. War Host of Vastmark does not allow for that. That book comes out swinging. Oh my, I know the author. So there are live shows where I've been discussing this series with a star-studded cast of booktubers. I'm going to have them all linked below along with the live show discussion. Now, on the second live show, Ships of Merior, Janie Wirtz, the author, was present. And I know she was just had to be laughing hysterically on the inside at some of the things we were saying, because she knew when we started this third book, and now she and Jake both said, go ahead and start it, go ahead and start it. Oh, I say why. It's amazing. I mean, gosh, I'm not even a quarter of the way through book 3. I think it's going to be my favorite of the series so far. But this is an epic fantasy series. It's just blowing my mind, the sheer breadth and depth of this series. This is, I mean, outstanding. I've been saying it ever since I started reading it. I think this is going to be one of my top favorite fantasy series of all time. And on that note, let's bring it down. Let's bring the excitement down a little bit. I've been loving everything. Oh, I totally forgot on my Kindle. The excitement is not over. I started reading Discovery by J.A.J. Minton, which, for those of you in the know, that is the family behind the Talking Story BookTube channel. John, Amy, and Jacob, they came together and wrote this book, and it's a really funny story of the process of how this book came to be and the series and all that. I'm going to link that channel down below. Check it out. But their book comes out on May 15th. It's a sci-fi, I would say, cosmic thriller mystery. It's just good from the word go. You get pulled in immediately. Anytime there is some sort of deep mystery, a horror, something that carries a lot of risk and danger, when you start me with an introduction to the book by introducing a piece of that to me, give me a taste of that horror, something that's going to get me intrigued, that's going to turn me into a rabid reader where I keep going and going and going because I need to know more. I need to know more. When you start me out that way, you've got me. You've got me. And Discovery, it's good, but I'm only reading it during the day because I feel that this is one, just the way that it's written, the type, the style, it's almost epistolary in a way, but I think this one would give me nightmares if I read it at night before bed. So I read Discovery in the afternoons, and I've been reading War Host of Vastmark at night, which has been keeping me up super late, and that's not good. I've been losing sleep, but it's worth it. Now we can bring it down, and let's talk about what I'm gonna read after I finish a few of these wonderful, wonderful novels. Once I finish volume, what am I working on? I'm on volume 13 of One Piece. I'll continue that reread with volume 14. I think I need to get through 17 to be ready for the next live show discussion, and it is a reread. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm having a good time going through and just having favorite moments and themes and just things of that nature to talk about with my friends. I'm also going to be reading the thrilling conclusion to the historical fantasy trilogy by Stephen Arian. It is the Nightingale and the Falcon series, coming to a close with book 3, The Sorrow of the Sea. I really wish I had time to reread the first 2 books in the series because they are amazing. I can't wait to see how this is going to tie up. All else fails, what I could do is go watch my videos for the first 2 books, because I made those videos right after I finished my reread of the Judas Blossom and then reading Blood Dim Tide for the first time. So I should have all of that emotion that I can just remember and let it feed back into me right before I crack this one open to see how this one's going to end. And then for good measure, let's add one more on here. That's going to be Sue Lin Tan's Immortal. I love Sue Lin Tan. Everything that I've read by her to date, just absolutely have adored. I love how beautiful her book covers are. Look how gorgeous. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I bought it because I love the author, but I would have bought this one for its cover as well. So I am excited to read this one. I want to say, oh, that's neat. It's not foiled or anything. I don't know if my light catches it. It's got an indentation on it that says, "What the gods did not give us, I would take." Now this, I believe, is another romance story. It is a standalone. Yes, a breathtaking standalone romantic fantasy filled with dangerous secrets, forbidden magic, and passion about a young ruler who fights to protect her kingdom. So I am just Breath of the Dragon just reawakened my love for this type of story. So I decided I was just going to keep it going with Immortal. And that's it, y'all. That's all I got for y'all this week. I know it's a lot. It's been a while. Had to catch up on everything. But those are all of the things that I have finished recently, what I'm working on, and what I'm going to be reading next. Again, next week on the channel, look for that non-spoiler review of Wool, which is the first book in the sci-fi post-apocalyptic Silo series by Hugh Howey. Thank you so much for being here today and watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I talked about a book you loved and had the same love for it as you do. Or maybe I talked about one that I've been enjoying that you think sounds good to you. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.